to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Adam Bonophobia Coxwell here in your ears. I am joined by four great guys. I got Dom, Vrail, Punch, and Beaver. We're going to talk patch 8.5 this evening. Hope everyone is doing well.
So well.
Fantastic.
How you doing, friends?
All right.
Super well, dude.
All right. Been looking forward to this all day, gotta tell you.
Why, nice little break from life.
I've been running around doing so much wedding stuff today. Saturday, it's done. It's coming up. We're near the finish line, but goddamn.
Most of it has to be ready now.
You
right?
think that, and you feel like that, and then you realize like, oh, I have to do this little thing. I have to, it's just like the little stuff that is piling up, and
now
and then like the last minute curveballs, like it's nuts.
So, did I ever tell you guys the story of my wedding day? What happened on it? Like the little quirk. This is kind of off Dom, where like you can't plan for everything, even though you should. So just to make it really quick before we jump in there, on my wedding day, we got married. Everything went off without a hitch. And then as we get ready, as we're about to do the ceremony, the officiant comes up to us and goes, "Hey, you have a license here for Kentucky, but we're in Ohio getting married, so I can't sign this." And we went, "Oh, fuck." She's like, "All right, well, we can do the wedding ceremony, you know, and da-da-da, but then we have to drive over to Kentucky and do all of it again and sign it." So we went over across the bridge to I think it was a Hilton right across the bridge and in the parking lot. Technically, I got married in the parking lot as we had to redo our vows and sign the sheet on the back of her car in Kentucky.
Huge congratulations.
Yeah, so the little things that, like, I didn't even think about it, right?
Well, and then there's stuff that you try to prepare for, and you think everything is all planned out, and then suddenly totally goes awry. Like, for example, we just found out that the person who was supposed to be doing Laura and the entire bridal party's hair this Saturday is not going to be able to make it now. For reasons, and they are trying to work that out and everything, but like that's really not what you want to find out 3 days before the wedding.
Yeah, no.
So,
well, Dom, I will
to
say,
that point, Punch and everything, you know, like you said, what more could there possibly be? It's just shit like that. Oh my god, new fire. How do I put this out?
I would just say that, Dom, on the wedding day, just leave it up to everybody else to take care of it. Don't fucking worry about any of the plans. Someone says it, I would just go, "Hey, best man, take care of this," because I've got other shit to worry about. We're
actually paying somebody to do most of that stuff, so that's even better. And she's been great to work with. But yeah, best man will be doing things. I am bringing my Switch and drinking beer until like I'm asked to do something by people who like require me to be there for it.
Just please don't be drunk when you go to the altar.
No, I won't be drunk.
All right, that's great. All right, well,
tipsy.
Just lightly buzzed.
Well, congratulations, Dom. Since this will be the podcast, last podcast as an unmarried man.
Thank you.
And it gets to be a patch episode, which we all know is all of our favorites, especially Punch's. I can see that look on his face.
Oh, I love him. This is the best patch because once again, no Camille nerfs.
You know they're coming.
They feels good.
Coming.
They're coming, but they're not here today, Dom. Not today.
She's the only fighter who's like doing really, really, really well, and all the others are like, "Oh, being a fighter is so tough."
Mm-hmm. And you know what? They're not on PvE either. All right, things are looking good.
Yeah, she probably doesn't actually need nerfs. That's the thing. Like, she's just doing well. And
I don't know. I mean,
yes, people should keep saying that. I agree. Yes. No nerfs. No nerfs needed. Perfectly balanced. Ask Todd.
Camille's no fun to play against. That might just be because I don't like the champion, but
you could just play Nasus, and then you have no problem against Camille ever, because she can't kill you, and she can't push you out of lane.
You know what? I don't like how you think, Pone.
Just trying to
I think you got a very toxic approach to the game there.
It's true. It's like I'm so toxic that I played a solo queue game earlier, and the guy picked was it Kasa? Is that how you say? Is that how we're saying it? I actually don't know how to pronounce it.
Kaisa.
Someone was hovering Kaisa, and I banned it, and then they banned my Jhin that I was hovering, and they said "fuck you," and then I just
the classic. Yeah. That's a classic.
And I was like, I didn't say anything. I was just like, well, I don't want you to bring a new champion that came out today into rank. Screw me. Am I right? Like, sorry. Anyway.
How dare you?
And Jhin sucks, so it's probably a win-win overall.
I don't actually know if Jin's gonna suck anymore, to be honest with you. We'll talk about it. I have very high hopes for Jhin right now.
Great. Well, Jhin has a recent history of sucking, so
that is very true.
That's true.
Yes. All right, let's jump in here. Go ahead, Beaver.
Well, I was just gonna say, like we've talked about before, but Jin's not even weak. It's just the meta sucks for him. But yeah, let's keep
pretty
going.
much right. And a few other things, but yes, more than less. It's like,
well, he's the third champion on this list, so
yeah. That's why I'm like, I want to talk about it, but we'll wait because we need to talk about Azir first. They are nerfing Azir. His Q, Conquering Sands damage, the one that pushes the soldiers near you, is being nerfed. It was 70 to 170 damage, now 60 to 140. And I guess all the Azir mains are up in flames about it, saying this makes him weaker than he was previously. Oh my god. And you know what? All in all, I'm okay with it because Azir does not need to be powerful. I think he's one of the champions that kind of shifts the pro meta a bit, and he needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, Azir mains. What a joke.
Not performing well to begin with, so.
Yeah, I mean, what he used to do, because, I mean, they nerfed his cooldown on the Q. He just puts his shoulder down. He Qs you, he gets the comet hit, and then he autos you, and it's like really hard to win that trade as an opposing mid laner. So this is gonna hurt. It's the cooldown already hurts, and I'm kind of happy it does less damage also because I don't like playing against Azir.
Yeah,
nobody does.
Galio being changed. Galio now needs to have a belt full of mana potions the entire time. Too bad they're no longer in the game. Q wins a war. The cost has been increased. It was 70 to 90. It is now 70 to 130. The cooldown has also been increased. It was 10 to 6. It is now 10 to 8. So, sadness, yeah.
Sadness.
It's always such a. I mean, like this is pro play stuff and everything because it's not like Galio is running over solo queue games. I would be interested to see like some of these data aggregators separating flex queue from solo queue from a stat standpoint, because maybe it's a case where Galio is performing much better even at that level of organized play, but it's not like he's running shit over.
I have to imagine that is true about the organized play, because that was something that I mentioned when we were talking about this in Slack briefly, was that, you know, again, Azir getting nerfed because of pro play, and I kind of wonder if like the competitive flex / ranked group play makes these champions more powerful and not just pro play. So
well, I can attest to I have a lot more success with him when we're playing as 5 than when I take him into solo queue. I don't think the mana is going to suck, but I think the cooldown is going to be the bigger deal.
Do you run? I guess the mana doesn't. I mean, the mana sucks, but are you changing?
You're getting a mana item first.
Are you doing tier on him then?
No. You're not doing tier.
For like a gigantic shield, so you can never die, or are you just kind of doing like a catalyst?
Rod.
No, you're probably still going to go Rod, or well, you probably have to go Rod because what you used to do is you would just go. You could not what you used to. You could go just Proto Belt first for the extra spike. That's an earlier spike than getting Rod, but I think with the mana, it kind of sucks because the Proto Belt gives you the CDR to kind of get back what's taken away, but then you don't have the mana. So I'm not really sure what his build path will be. It'll probably, I think it'll shift towards Rod, maybe.
It has
to be one of those lost chapter items otherwise. I mean, I know he needs the health and everything, but then that's CDR.
Yeah, Luden's I think you would go Luden's out of any of them, probably.
Well, what about GLP?
Or I guess GLP, yeah, because GLP got buffed. GLP got buffed also in this patch. So that gives you the revolver also, because having the revolver active really helps his trading because he already has an empowered auto, so you're already trying to get the auto off. So GLP might be a good alternative. You probably still have to rush the lost chapter though if you're going to go that item.
Why don't we talk GLP right now, just because he's probably the only champion in these patch notes that might actually use it. So yeah, GLP is being changed a bit. The damage is being increased. It was 75 to 150 at levels 118. Is now 100 to 200. So getting a significant buff when you first pick it up. And the slow is being increased 65%.
I think they're just they nerfed it when they switched the AP items to be building out of Lost Chapter. I think this is just undoing the nerf, so it's going to have the same damage and slow as it did before the change. I think that's what they did.
And then what's also worth noting is that they didn't say that they were nerfing the damage, so like that change went in, and everybody was playing with it. And but
No,
like,
I think they mentioned it. I think they
No,
had its
they said-
damage changed on the 8.4.
no, it literally says upon further inspection, said damage nerfs missed the 8.4 patch notes.
Oh, well, see, that's what
It
I
was
get
in the
for not
PBE,
reading.
and that might have
I
been
should
why
never, I should never question Dom's research.
Just go with it.
Lesson learned. My bad.
I guess GOP could be something you could look at, but I guess the slow helps you land W, but I don't think you really need the help to land W, so maybe GOP isn't what exactly you're rushing. I guess for the spike potentially, but I'm not sure. What are you giving up, right?
Well, you'd be rushing it for the stats, not necessarily the active. I think that's what we're trying to figure out here, right? Which
Yeah, I mean, the active would be nice. It'll help you get in range to just get the auto off. I mean, GLP, that's what GLP does. But you're going to have to give up Rod or... I don't know yet. I mean, I'll have to play around with it.
Really, the discussion is, are you going GLP instead of Proto Belt now? Because you're probably not going to be able to go Proto Belt anymore. So GLP with the extra mana helps more than Proto Belt does, right? Because you get the extra mana off it to offset the...
Yeah, it'll probably be Proto Belt. It'll probably be, I mean, GLP or Rod instead of Rod or Proto Belt, right. I would imagine.
All right,
but let's see. I'll have to play with it.
Let's go back to champions, and that's what she said. To what you said, not to me. Passive Jhin. They're changing Jhin in this patch. The passive Whisper. The innate bonus attack damage, it would go up with every level. It was 2 to 40% total attack damage at levels 1 to 18. Is now 4 to 44% damage at levels 1 to 18. Q dancing grenade.
As it should be.
Say what?
As it should be. 4 to 44.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Thematically correct. I like it. Didn't catch on to that.
Q dancing grenade now goes, it was 40 to 60% of your total attack damage, now 40 to 70% of your total attack damage. The biggest, besides the passive being a decent change, the biggest change in this patch would be the deadly flourish can now root off at any damage, including Jin's damage. So Jin's Q can proc, so you can get deadly flourish. Like Shiv can do it, ultimate can do it as well. Just about, well, any kind of damage Jin can do can leave the mark, so you can deadly flourish them, which is a pretty significant buff for lane trading Jhin, because there are a lot of times where you wish you could proc it through abilities or whatever, anything. You're not waiting on an enemy to attack them to get the deadly flourish.
Through the Q mainly. And if you get that Q bounce on them, that'd be pretty nice for him.
And yeah, the Q bounce is awesome, because there's a lot of times where you're running at somebody and you can Q a minion and get the bounce with the single bounce on whoever it is, and then you want to be able to root, but you have to wait for somebody else to attack them because you're not within an auto attack range. There's also times where I know that I'll be alting somebody and I wish I had that W to follow up with it for the extra root damage, and you land the W and it's just not enough. So that's really phenomenal for it. Between Whisper and Deadly Flourish, I do believe, and a rune change here, I do believe that Jhin could potentially come back for solo queue. I'm not talking top of the charts, but probably mid-range again, not 46% win rate. I'm really excited to start trying to bring him back.
Well, I think you don't want to undersell the Q change, because a 10% buff in total attack damage on Jhin is a lot different than a 10% buff on other champions, just because he gets such an obscene amount of AD.
Sure.
So I think that is a bigger change than we might be letting on. Because he can end the game with like 600-700 AD.
Yeah, but a lot of the qualities of Jhin and the fact that he gets to start team fights on his terms with his Deadly Flourish, and now it's even better that it procs off more things, essentially, like Adam was saying. I think he's a lot better, especially since he's a lane-dominant champion. He's really good at pushing. Has really high burst damage like all throughout the game. And obviously he's just kind of weak because recently we've seen the rise of tanks, which means AD carries need to bring the percent max health, which means they need to be attacking a lot. And Jhin doesn't attack a lot; he just attacks with huge bursts, right? So,
I mean, I think he's like one of the strongest level 1 champs and one of the strongest level 2 champs, at least at a bot lane. He can really put the hurt on real early.
He's a really strong level 2 champion for sure. Not level 1 can be. I mean, you have this
level 1 if you get to your 4-shot, because you basically have 2 spells at that point.
Right. I'm excited for Jhin for solo queue specifically, just because Fleet Footwork gets a nerf in this patch as well, so there's not so much sustain out of bottom lane, allowing Jhin to push the envelope a bit more through Comet and potentially do Jhin things, right? And I just needs to be. I need to play with it. I'm very optimistic. For anybody out here likes Jin, I do, and so I'm ready to try to play him. But I got him banned earlier because I was an asshole, so I didn't get to play him today.
Yeah, maybe don't be an asshole. See what happens.
Maybe don't try to play a new champion in ranked and see what happens. I mean, I'm just saying.
Maybe they played him a lot on the PBE. You can't
tell that to
Be
Braille,
an
man.
asshole.
Oh yeah, no.
Swain day 2. Tell him about it, man.
I
That was a
played
fun game.
Swain day 1 in ranked because I played that one game with, or it might have been day 2. I played that one game with y'all. I was like, oh, this champ is awesome. And then I played 2 ranked games because I was dumb enough not to learn after my first one, and just a quick 0-2. I think I was 1-12 over the course of the 2 games.
Learning experience.
It was. I've gotten a lot better since then at the champion. I play him a lot in rank now, but yeah, I learned from my mistakes and hope y'all can learn from mine also.
Well, let's move on to the next champion. Nocturne getting a buff on this patch. Passive Umber Blades is now healing for more. It was 10, 18, 26. It now scales with level from 15 to 40 rather than at levels 11, 7, and 13. Cooldown refresh is 2 seconds per champion hit or per hit on champion rather than 1 second. Dustbringer missile speed has been increased to 1600. Shroud of Darkness. If Shroud of Darkness is active when Nocturne recasts Paranoia to dash to a target, it stays active until Nocturne reaches its target. So the cooldown, or the active portion, the cooldown doesn't start until you're done with Darkness.
Yeah, so I've been over these changes, thought about them a little bit.
One more.
Which one? Paranoia.
Paranoia. Blackout recast duration is 6 seconds, down from 4, or up from 4.
Up from 4. Yeah, so Nocturne, for those of you who don't know, he sucks right now. There's like pretty much no two ways about it, unfortunately. For a couple of reasons, but mainly because he can't do anything before he hits level 6, and now he has a lot more utility when he hits 6. And if we've noticed in the past, champions that get a lot of utility when they hit 6 out of the jungle are often very good. So first of all, Umbral Blades, the change, really what it does, adds a bit more damage, and it makes the cooldown refresh when he's fighting other champions a lot better. So now he has a little bit more early game skirmish potential.
It also keeps him healthier coming out of
exactly
raptor camps and whatnot. Like
from what is already a reasonably healthy clear. And then so he's going to be nice and topped up on health. Dustbringer, the Q, just missile speed change. Like I don't think that he doesn't necessarily needed that, but the W change is really.
Sorry,
what's
that?
that?
I'm going to add comments to each of these. I don't understand how you were missing, because I love Nocturne, right? He's like my second favorite champion. So I don't understand how you were missing the Springer. Why was the missile speed ever increased?
I don't think it needed to be, but I mean, the sweep changes the W, like the Shroud of Darkness. So
that's huge.
The W is basically your spell shield. Mm-hmm. So the thing you do is you activate W, and then you hit Paranoia, which is your ultimate, and then you got to wait for the right moment to go on your target. If you're not super fed and you're just going to instantly kill them, you want to use that spell shield to block their, Caitlyn E trap or whatever it is, whatever skill they try to use on you, CC. And what used to happen is you would hit W and then hit Paranoia, and then by the time you go into your target, your spell shield is like timed out, so now you don't have a spell shield. It's just super awkward, right? And you don't want to be pressing it. But now what happens is, as long as you have Paranoia up, Shroud of Darkness, that your spell shield will not drop, so it will not start ticking down until you dash to the person.
Is that how it is, or is it really just like if you press R and then you press W and then you press R while the shield is otherwise up?
Yeah. So if you press R while the shield is up, the duration isn't going to drop. Essentially,
press R the second time though.
Yes, the second time. So you have like a 6-second window where you have a spell shield up.
No, I think it's only if you activate it. If it's active when you cast it to go on your enemy. So if you because when it's recast, not when it's
while you're flying in the air, the spell shield does not lose.
Or if you press it right before you start flying and everything. But if you press it like right at the start of hitting Paranoia, like it's just gonna tick like it normally would, and then you're gonna like it's gonna fizzle away.
Sure, so you press it right before you press R the second time, but either way, the point being that...
Oh, it's still way better.
Now, you used to just get on your target and you wouldn't even get to spell shield anything, but now you actually can. You can, like, basically buffer it, which is nice.
And it's especially good because, like, when you're playing against Nocturne, you are... And he presses R, like, you're waiting. You're like, okay, where is he going to show up? Where is he going to show up? Is it going to be on me? Is it going to be, who's he going to be on?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see him come flying fucking in, your immediate response is to do something. You know, for a lot of people, it's flash. Otherwise, you know, your Alistar, let's combo him, or, you know, do something and everything. And so now that he can show up and actually be immune to the first action taken against him, that's huge. He's going to be ganking top lane a lot more than bot lane because there are more spells bot lane, but.
And the duration extension is nice because I'm sure we've all been in team fights when Nocturne ults and you're like, what the hell is going on? And now it lasts for, you know, 6 seconds. That's fun.
Yeah, two things about that. One, that Paranoia now allows top turn to teleport and still have his ultimate available when he gets to the lane, because it's very fringe case scenarios, but you can black out and then teleport and then come down.
Of course you would think about this.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Two, but actually having 2 more seconds on Paranoia, the blackout duration.
It's nice.
If you were anytime you were playing him, not just out of the jungle, good Nocturne players would cast the Paranoia, but not jump right to the target right away, because the blackout allows your team to do things, you know, that you guys understand. So that was a lot of times, like, I primarily played top turn. And that was primarily the case for R, was to just get the blackout. You can laugh. Top turn's awesome.
It's awesome until you play against the Gnar, and then it's just the worst experience of your life.
There are always those champions that are gonna fuck you over. Don't get me wrong.
Isn't that most melee champions in the Gnar though?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So I can, from a performance standpoint, I like looking at 8.5 only. You know, granted, it's like just over 1 million games, which, you know, sounds like a lot for a league that is really not that many. But he has jumped up right to around Volibear's win rate. Volibear did fall right a bit, but they're both within the top 15 junglers. So, like, this helped Nocturne considerably.
What a broken champion Volibear is.
He's less broken now, apparently.
All right, let's talk about Olaf. The changes that I'm not very happy about at all, because the Reckless Swing cooldown has been decreased. It was 12 to 8, is now 11 to 7. Ratio has been increased to 0.5 of total attack damage from 0.4. However, Ragnarok has been changed, where the flat bonus attack damage has been significantly decreased. It was 40 to 80. It is now 15 to 25. However, when he uses his ultimate, Olaf now also gains 30% of his total attack damage as bonus attack damage for the duration, which primarily means that Olaf now has to build Black Cleaver and Sterix to do any kind of extra damage through his ultimate.
I don't know why you think that, though. It's all of the AD.
Because he's not, where other AD is he getting? Because if Olaf was being primarily picked as a counter to like Sejuani and others, because he could just run right through everything and not be CC'd, but he's not getting nearly as much damage as he previously was, because he was building almost all tank between like Righteous Glory, Cinderhulk. Cinderhulk got nerfed on this patch and whatnot. So now you have to build some kind of AD to get any of that extra damage out of Ragnarok. Potentially nerfing
base
jungle.
AD.
Yeah, potentially nerfing jungle Olaf. Not like gutting him, but nerfing him.
Yeah, it's pushing him in the direction of building more AD items. That's pretty much it. You don't just get to go Black Cleaver full tank anymore, which is what most top Olafs did, right?
Even
jungles,
yeah.
Without AD items, it doesn't like the damage is going to be that far off if he just by using 30% of his flat attack damage.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be less, certainly. Like you're not gonna reach the 40 to 80 without a Black Cleaver, but I don't think this is horrible.
From your base AD alone, you're getting 24.54 attack damage, which puts you right at the same 40 that you were getting before as a bonus.
But only, I guess you have to
during the bonus during the duration of R. It's the exact same. It's just now it rewards Olaf players that build AD more than the tank players, but it doesn't affect the tank players.
It might later, because I think that's it. Do the math when he's at a higher level, though, because I don't think it reaches 80.
Yeah, that was level 6, so let's do level 11. And I mean, like, you also got to account for. I am assuming that flat bonus attack damage gets factored into this, right?
Yeah, it says total, so it should.
Yeah.
His attack damage is 98.7 at level 11.
We are mathing.
Oops.
High quality podcast math right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, you guys can see my calculator pop up. That's 29.61. So that's 49.61 at level 11. He's missing 10 damage at level 11.
He'll
yeah,
survive.
I mean, yeah, he'll survive that.
10 damage isn't that bad.
10 damage is pretty significant. I mean, it's champions have
Not
been
not for
nerfed
Olaf,
less
because
than-
if you're
But-
using him to deal with Sejuani, you're also using him to deal true damage to Sejuani because he doesn't care about everything else she's doing.
I'd give up 10 damage to have the flexibility to be more rewarded for going like an AD build.
Damn, you're actually losing a significant amount at level 17.
But if you're
50.
going tank Olaf, then your late game damage isn't that important anyways.
Yeah,
You're more concerned about the most important part is your early damage is the same, and that's you know when you can decide the lane or decide the entire game at that point.
Sort of the same.
If you get to
I
late
understand
game
your
with
point.
Olaf, you're kind of in trouble anyways. So
Yeah, more than less if you're level 18 running.
especially if you're against a Sejuani.
I'm still not.
He's
sold.
okay.
I'm still not sold on it. Maybe it makes
Don't-
top lane Olaf better because Olaf.
Don't
with
shed
Comet
tears
and
for
Q
Olaf.
maxes.
These are
I
bugs.
just didn't see where your outrage was coming from and saying you had to go for Sterix and Black Cleavers. Like, it just doesn't seem to be the case to me.
But if you do want to go Sterix and Black Cleaver,
Seems like you're better out. You'd be better off
Swooty,
going like
swooty.
Death's Dance or Hydra or some shit. Like, you just get the big AD because that was what they would be rewarding here.
You wouldn't be able to. You
That's
wouldn't
crazy
survive
tough.
with that. Yeah, you got to like it's Sterix is too damn good on him for top Olaf, but I actually don't know what even Olaf is building on a top lane anymore right now. I just have no idea. I have not looked
I
at
feel
it.
like Righteous Glory has to be a part, or maybe he goes Predator.
I'm pretty sure it's Black Cleaver full tank.
Oh, can you imagine Predator, Righteous Glory, Olaf just running down the ADC?
Mhm.
You go
think-
Comet.
I'm sure I've probably played that once.
You go Comet because Q. You can just throw Qs and land Comet all day, every day, and they get slowed. So yeah.
I mean, the two items you said, and then also and also Righteous Glory, those are crushing things right now. I mean, Olaf is winning hard when he gets Cleaver, Sterix, and Righteous Glory.
hmm
But I don't know what he was getting previously. Let me check. He was getting Cleaver and Sterix. He was getting Cleaver always, and then like it was a situational item otherwise. So I don't think this is changing anything the way you thought it was. I think Olaf is doing what he was always doing if you're playing him out of top.
I guess
And
it'll
now
be
he
left
just
to be seen over
rewarded
the
more
next
for it.
couple weeks, huh? Well, let's talk about Rengar then. I guess we'll have to wait for the changes to come out to see actually how it does affect him. I don't understand why they're buffing Rengar, but they are.
Dude, because
Who
he
is the
sucks.
worst
He
winning
sucks right
jungler?
now.
He sucks. He's so bad.
But that's okay.
I could not have
guys.
been
That's
I could not
okay.
have been more wrong about the set of changes coming for him. I'm glad he's bad because fuck that champion. But
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not anymore.
yeah,
Any stealth
goddamn it.
champion.
Unseen Predator Ferocity fall off timer up to 8 seconds from 6. Only spell used to gain full Ferocity is locked out. Lockout duration for Q and E is up to 0.1 seconds, down from 0.25. Savagery, his Q, the base damage has been increased by 10 at all ranks. Ratio has been increased with level. Now it was 1.1 total. Now goes 1 to 1.2 total. Bola Strike, if Rengar presses Q and W during Bola Strike's cast time, he'll now buffer those spells and cast them when Bola Strike completes. Better for people like me who are terrible. Thrill of the Hunt, Rengar's true vision now lingers on his target until the leap completes rather than when the leap starts. Basically buffing his Q and passive. I don't know. I still see every Rengar I see goes legendary no matter what. So I don't know where this Rengar is terrible shit is coming from, but it's because
It surprised me too, but from what I've heard from the Rengar people, he just needed a little bit of love, a little more damage put back into Q because they took off too much when they reverted it.
I didn't.
And
Like, get better at your champion, Rengar people.
And Q felt bad to use due to that lockout period. So now that they reduced the lockout period and they made this, they added the Q. They added it so that your Q goes off after Bola Strike. Q feels more responsive now. So the Rengar people are happy and everyone else is very sad.
Listen, it's okay for Rengar to be at a 45.4% win rate as of.
And not agree
this
more.
This is both patches as of right now because I didn't just do the one, but still, we'll just assume that 45% win rate. It's okay to be that way.
It's more than okay. It's fantastic.
Dude, it's not okay.
Beaver's suspiciously quiet, guys.
I'm suspiciously quiet, definitely. All 80 carries should be
You.
at 40% win rates.
Do you have a pocket Rengar?
Yeah, I played with this Rengar. It was we had to work
Hmm.
hard to win that game though.
Yeah, it's because he sucks.
We had to work really hard.
He's like, has a crazy mid game and can snowball really hard, but if you get to like item parity with people, He can be very difficult to successfully use in team fights. You often find yourself, everyone's level 18, just 1-for-1ing with the enemy AD carry, which is usually fine, but when you're like 20-5 or something, you know, it doesn't feel fine.
Hope to do more.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as of right now, on this patch, again, 1.5 million games played, he has a 48% win rate. So
yeah, it's better.
We can leave him right there.
And that's fine.
Seems
That's pushing it. He might need some nerfs next. Let's go.
champion
Maybe
that needs
46
nerfs
is
is
better.
this next lad that's up, though.
Right.
Can't
Rise, Spell Flux. Damage has been increased. It was 50 to 150. It is now 70 to 150. The spread damage has been decreased down to 50%, though. Realm Warp cooldown has been increased to 180.
That ultimate, that's an extra 60 seconds. It used to be 120, guys. It's now
Beautiful.
180.
Good.
Do you even skill it?
I mean, you can only put 2 points in it, so...
The best use I've seen of Rise's ultimate came in a solo queue game where the enemy team was at Baron and my team only had Rise and support Brand up. And Rise said, all right, Brand, we're going in. You ready? When we get in there, ultimate them. And I got your back. So Rise cast the ultimate. Brand and Rise are in the ultimate. Rise then leaves the ultimate, and Brand goes in alone. He just sends Brand to his death. Brand uses his ultimate on the enemy team. Rise comes in and cleans up, and we win the game. I honor the fuck out of that Rise, because that was the best ultimate I've ever seen. That was amazing. Good job.
I'm trying to imagine being that Brand. Like, wait, what?
That forced sacrifice, and then he just has to commit when he's in there.
Get in there, buddy. Go for it, champ. Just hit that ultimate.
Beaver and I tried to do Kamikaze Nunu with Rise.
Oh my god, dude, don't remind me of that.
That shit did not go well.
Your timings just still
Jesus.
triggering me to this day.
It was not great.
Well, Shyvana changes in this patch. More or less a revert from last patch, right? The base stats. Attack damage growth has been increased to 3.4 from 2.8. Didn't they change the scaling on Twin Bite last patch to like nerf it?
Dude,
hard?
I'm not gonna lie, I played her last patch. So she wasn't terrible, but it felt like her clear was not nearly as good. Like you oftentimes were unhealthy when finishing your jungle clear. So
I mean, and they nerfed her because she was benefiting so much from press the attack, just because she could get it to go so much better than most other champs. And so that's what the point of this revert is because like, hey, press the attack got nerfed, so we should also we maybe didn't need to nerf Shyvana. But the funny part is like press the attack gets buffed this patch too. So
I think she's going to be a very acceptable jungler after that. Not that she wasn't acceptable before, but I think she'll be much better just because one of the item changes that we'll get to in a bit.
I mean, right now she's
Warmog
top 10
Strange.
again. So damn it, god
That's
damn
fine,
it.
though. She's not like unreasonable.
No, she's fine.
This next champion's unreasonable, dude. I hate him.
Skarner, the stun duration at E down to 1.25 seconds for 1.5. Just making some adjustments because people are fine. You know, thanks to pro play, people are finally starting to notice that Skarner is actually good. And I'm pretty sure during patch 8.1 we all said Skarner is probably good now. Go play him.
Yep. He's
Pretty
good.
sure that happened. All right, Swain changes on this patch. Q Death Hand cooldown has been significantly decreased. It was 7.5 to 2.5. It is now 5.5 to 2.5. W Visions of Empire radius has been increased to 325 from 265. E Never Move radius increased to match visuals from 70. Now goes to 100. Sorry, that's just weird how it wrote. And then Demonic Ascension. Demon Flare now passes through champions. Effects like Wind Wall and Unbreakable.
Windwall and Unbreakable still block.
They still block, but it passes through champions.
Right.
Yes.
I think guess what it used to do is it hit champion and wouldn't keep going. These are big changes, I think. The Q change early is going to help you match a lot of people's wave clear, but I almost think the W change is almost bigger because in order to get like your normal combo in lane with Swain is you would E. If you think the E is going to hit, you would drop your W in front of the champion, and then you pull them into the W and Q in their face. That's kind of his basic change, but you had to kind of predict if you were going to hit your E and then W ahead of time because the radius was so small. But now I think you'll be able to wait and see if you hit your E and then cast W. But the W in team fights is huge. I goes on the practice tool and testing out like how much bigger it felt, and it's great. So the way you use W in team fights normally is you put it somewhere where they're either going to have to choose to walk into it and take the damage, or walk around it, and either way you win because you're slowing them down. And the extra size is going to be really impactful in team fights because if you've played it before, you'll be able to tell immediately how much bigger it is. And I think the W change is going to help him a ton.
I don't even know that he needed the help, really.
I don't know. The W is real hard to land, so I think he's good, but I don't know how other people have been faring against him.
This radius increase on E kind of scares me.
But it doesn't. It's just matching the animation now, I think.
Right, but I mean, it's still going to be harder to dodge now if I'm reading that correctly.
Or it's going to be as hard as it should have been to dodge.
Oh, yeah, sure. There might have been times where it looks like it should have fit.
Glass half full guy over here, glass half empty over there.
Are you not excited about the cooldown of Death's Hand being significantly decreased early?
Yeah.
Especially with the tier of the Goddess route being so good?
Yeah, I actually might. So I never wanted to go to Precision on him because if you go Presence of Mind, you couldn't get 2 Qs off in the duration of Presence of Mind after you level up. But I might look into going Presence of Mind now because you'll be able to get 2 Qs off, and I don't think you'll run out of mana in lane.
Yeah, speaking of Precision, I did play Vagar with Precision the other day for Coup de Grace.
How'd that feel?
Sorry. It felt that I liked actually the attack speed more than anything else out of that because I felt like I could actually harass people in lane.
Terrible.
Right, but I could actually harass the enemy with auto attacks in lane if they.
You interact with your enemy in lane on Vigar?
Well, yes, because
that's the thing. People, that's a play style.
You're supposed to land Qs on the enemy so that you get stacks of your passive.
You just farm for 40 minutes and one shot everyone.
Well,
it's boring, but a lot more.
And then you let Cat get a triple kill.
Right.
No, that was. Let's not talk about that game.
All right, Tristana, speaking of boring bottom lane play, Tristana base stats has been changed. Attack range was 550 to 669. It has now been decreased to 525 early to 525 to 661. And rocket jump base damage has been increased from 60 to 260 to 85 to 285. The 25 attack range, losing that in bottom lane for Tristana is very, very significant.
That's huge.
Yeah, she's already pushing the lane and already has to get close to auto attack. Now she doesn't get free harass when she pushes the lane under the tower and has to walk into the enemy range for stuff. So, yeah, that's impactful. It really does knock her down a couple pegs when it comes to really good AD carries.
I mean, now, like, before it was, okay, you're running into Tristana. All right, well, I guess I'll just pick Caitlyn because now I have a huge range advantage and that's all I need. And now it's kind of just like, oh, well, they picked Tristana. Now I will pick any other AD carry, and I still am going to be far ahead for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea.
Except for Kaisa, 500 range.
Well,
that was bad.
Yeah. Twitch getting a change in this patch. Contaminate base damage has been increased. It was 20 to 40 to now 20 to 60. Plus, they're also changing press the attack on this patch. Twitch now gaining some win rate coming into 8-5 for sure. He's going to be
he's third winningest right now. I mean, like, for all intents and purposes, he's the winningest AD carry again. Like, yes, Mordekaiser and Quinn are higher, but the 0.1% pick rate is not really anything to talk about there. So
they nerfed Shyvana and pressed the attack at the same time, and they nerfed Twitch and pressed the attack at the same time. And now they're buffing both of them at the same time because, according to them, they over-nerfed those two champions when they nerfed pressed the attack. I can't help but feel they're making the same mistake here.
Yeah, with the buffing the press the attack at the same time.
Just in the opposite direction, right?
But Twitch is a fun champion to play with and against.
No,
you know, you guys are just scrapping it out. You got wards down all over the place, and then bam, he gets a pentakill off the side.
Rat shows up.
Yeah, it's like freaking Rengar for your whole team.
Yeah, it's good times.
So much fun.
Though I will say, playing with a high quality Twitch makes. I mean, there's a clear difference between good and bad Twitches.
I've never played with a high quality Twitch. So
watching good Twitch's position is just it's a treat to play with.
Let's talk about Volibear. Majestic Roar. The E slightly increased the speed, but decreased the duration of the knockback.
Yeah, thanks for giving us hard numbers on this one, guys.
Yeah, I know exactly what this is.
We'll let you know how this plays.
We literally can't say anything because I mean
Slightly.
It was slightly. What does
What do we
slightly
think that-
mean? Is
what do we
slightly
think that is?
5%? Is
But the
that
decrease in
25?
duration-
Slightly
Not
point 0.05. You know what?
Wow. Zoe changes on this patch. So Zoe went up. What was she at? A 43% win rate? She's now up to 47.8.
No, she's at like a 40.
We did it. We did it, everybody.
Good keeper there.
She's up to 47.8 with these changes so far. Q Paddlestar damage has been increased to, it's now 50 to 150. Paddlestar's base damage is now increased by 7 to 50 at levels 1 to 8. The ratio has been increased to 0.6 ability power. No longer deals the passive damage to the first target hit. The explosion damage has been decreased. So she gets a little more damage back on her Q, right? Attack range for her has also been increased to 550 from 525. And W Spell Thief, enemy lock-on range is 550. The damage has been increased to 75 to 255, and the ratio has been increased to 0.75. So basically, they took a fuckload of shit away from her last patch and said, fuck you, middle finger, you've been nerfed to shit, and now we're just going to slowly start giving you stuff back to try to get you back to 50%.
Here was the thing here's the thing I always find amusing about Zoe. You have like top laners are going to complain about supports and mostly otherwise range champions and that type of thing. Supports complain about assassins and a lot of junglers. AD carries complain about pretty much anybody that can deal damage to them. And junglers, are going to complain usually again about supports or the bursty type mages, that type of stuff. And tanks, like everybody's complaining about tanks. Mid laners also complained about Zoe.
Well, I mean, what's fun about getting one shot?
Yeah,
Nothing's fun about that.
like everybody hated playing against Zoe and everything, and so yes, she needed to be nerfed and just leave her in the ground for a while. Like you don't need to start working on it right away, and she could be, at the 40% win rate until.
But she has a new skin coming out.
Right.
Which is also some bullshit.
What alarms me is that she's still a relatively new champion, and they're already making significant changes to her in patches to try and balance her.
Well, I think she needed.
It feels like they should be getting
changes.
better at creating balanced champions over time.
Except if a kit is so ridiculously overloaded, like Zoe
Right.
was, it's really, really, really difficult to figure out what the problem is, especially when, was the case with this champion, you're just utterly unwilling to listen to the community about what's frustrating to play against.
Are
They
these kids becoming
were kind of slow to
overloaded?
respond to Tom Kench, but Tom Kench really only had one frustrating thing, and beyond that, Tom Kench wasn't killing the entire team like Zoe did.
I'm wondering if these kits are overloaded because they're just trying to find for champions to have new ways to make them unique, and just a side effect is that they have everything that they could ever want in their kit.
I think it's certain designers just have a propensity for going overboard on stuff, and other designers get you don't need to pack 1,000 different types of numbers and variables to still make a champion interesting. And I guess there is value in having both types of approaches to the game, but it certainly does make a champ like Zoe way more overloaded and way more frustrating to play against, especially when they're slow to respond.
I still think the best counter to Zoe is Cleanse, Banshee's Veil, and QSS. If you get those, you should be okay.
Get all three. As soon as you get all
Get
three,
all
you're good.
three. Yes, get all three of them.
In that exact order.
In that order, yes.
The best counter to her was to ban her, so that's just the easiest way to
I don't
handle
think
this.
you need a ban.
Dude, you have to
her.
I
ban
don't think
Jaina.
you need to
You don't need to ban her now, no.
You gotta ban Twitch.
There are a lot of Jans.
All right. Item changes in this. Well, actually, there's another change here.
Cool.
Scion, they fixed the E, the Roar of the Slayer. There was the bug. If you didn't know about it. It was too wide. Essentially, you could hit anybody from any range, anywhere on the map at any time. They fixed that.
That hitbox was wonky
Dude,
as fuck.
he was Sion's still so good though, hey. Just a high quality champion.
I like Scion. I'm fine with Scion.
Yeah, he's good support. Hey.
Scion actually dropped quite a bit, down to about 51.2% win rate. So
He should not have been pick ban in pro play.
right.
That's kind of fun though. It was nice to mix up the meta a little bit.
It was. Banner Command. Banner Command damage multiplier against turrets no longer stacks with the identical multiplier hand to Baron grants siege minions. Essentially, if you followed Twitter or followed anybody out there, they were like, oh my god, you Banner Command and get Baron on a minion and it takes down a turret. I think they said in 5 to 8 shots. I can't remember the exact number. It just fucking destroyed turrets on its own. And
You
so,
sell that if you watch OCS.
Yes,
I kind of like that, honestly. It forces the team to either engage or lose their base. It rewards the Baron
Sort of,
team
except
more
that
so.
like you don't really want to engage on the team with Baron. Like that never really feels that good.
right.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't feel good. They got Baron.
But it's just that, like you also shouldn't be you shouldn't have no response to them getting Baron and everything. Like being able to sort of keep up with the wave clear, but you couldn't even do that because the minion was now well outside the range of your ability to hit them, and most of the damage dealers were dealing magic damage, which that empowered minion was immune to.
No, I agree that it was too strong, but I still think that it should be a thing you can play around.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, a minion shouldn't kill a turret. Like,
but that was
faster than
broken
masses.
in the past. Like they weren't getting the damage multiplier, and that's why nobody was buying Banner because it wasn't doing what it was really supposed to.
Yeah, it's something to play around. They just nerfed it, and it needed to be nerfed a bit because it still does the multiplier, just not nearly as much as it did. Another big change in this patch is that Cinder Hulk now only gives 15% bonus health rather than 20%. You know, finally touching it 5 patches in.
What's up, dude? No, this is a big change, but I mean, by itself, it's not a big change, but combined with the Warmog's nerf, it's a huge change. Because we talked about for the last couple patches, a lot of champions are just going Cinder Hulk into Warmog's armor and then hitting the 2750 threshold, which it used to be. And then great, now no one can do anything because you can just engage. No one can kill you because you have 3000 health, and then you just back out, regen. Mages are out of mana, go back in. And champions that should not be just buying straight health and dealing a ton of damage like Jax is the one they cited here. Perfect example. Jax get free resistances from his ultimate. Great, now you just build Cinder Hulk, build Warmog's armor, and you're a good jungler. Congratulations.
Yeah, the health threshold for
Good
Warmog's
jungler,
is up
and
to
now you
3,000.
you can build damage from there on in. Like it doesn't matter.
You don't even need to. You got enough damage in your base kit.
You got your base damage.
And
That's
no
good
one
enough.
can kill you. Even if it takes you an extra 10 seconds to kill someone, doesn't matter. They're not going to kill you. So, good stuff.
Doesn't change Sejuani though. She still ends up being a really good jungler out of this because she's going to hit that 3,000 or that health threshold mark.
Yeah, you're still going to hit it with Cinder Hulk and Warmogs, aren't you?
Sejuani only has one weakness, and that's the fact that she can get invaded in the first few levels. And if you don't take advantage of that, Sejuani is going to crush you. And it's really hard to do that in pro play when teams or even coordinated teams like in fives, like us boys, you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You know, we get
Super
that
coordinated.
nasty vision. You know, when you get like good defensive vision set up so your jungler can have a safe early game, then I mean the enemy team
yeah,
has
we
the
do that all the
choice to
time.
either they can't counterpick Sejuani, so you just gotta pick something that keeps up with her. And that's pretty tough.
Now
to do.
there are fewer wards at the start. So
Exactly. So that's also helped. Good stuff. This is a good nerf though. Now you can't just buy these 2 items. You need to buy one in between to make the Warmogs actually work.
poor tanks.
They need
And
a
they
nerf.
buffed
though.
Rengar.
I know.
Oh, not good.
God damn it.
Not good.
They small change to the turrets, damage to melee minions and up to 45% from 43%. They just felt that it was making it harder for some champions to last hit in their tower by changing the amount of damage it was doing. Big buff.
I
here.
noticed a difference
Yeah,
when I
you
removed
do.
that 5 AD to minions.
I was pissed about that. That sucked.
All right, change to Cloud Drake. Now grants 2% bonus movement speed per stack, tripled when out of combat.
All
I'm
right.
excited, but I mean, like this
in-combat movement speed.
Like in combat movement speed's great.
We've already talked
So,
about it a long time ago. Dom and I love Cloud Drake. Don't really want to pass it up. Understand why other people do and understand the arguments, but even more so now I want to continue to take Cloud Drakes if I see them. I like
in
the
combat
movement
movement
speed.
speed is no joke.
The reason I love Cloud Drake is because if you have like 1 or 2 Cloud Drakes, you can sell your boots at 6 items and not feel bad about it. That's the only reason I like Cloud Drake.
Yeah, even more so now.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
more
it's
so
good.
now.
Fucking
It's
fast.
much better now. Sure.
All right, so rune changes. Precision domination stat bonus that has been increased slightly, just because you didn't get as much as if you were going precision anything else. Press the attack has now been increased to 8 to 12% from 4 to 12%. So now going to the mid-range amount of damage because they admitted they took too much off of press the attack last patch. And to complement that as well, fleet footwork. Range champion healing off of minions is down to 30% from 60.
So are we gonna see a different rune out of bot lane, or still fleet footwork every time?
I doubt it. I bet it's still fleet footwork. Heal it free. It's like Warlords. Free healing is good. I played with it earlier today, and I mean it's noticeable, but not like you just kind of get used to it.
Like, so the thing is that this makes the budget mages much more playable, because now some of your poke is actually going to stick. Like the problem in the past, like yeah, you're still going to be dealing with enchanters and that type of stuff, and I probably wouldn't play a budget mage and do an enchanter unless you're really good at blowing up the somebody. But like in the past, like you used to think, okay, if they're picking a tank, I can pick a poke champion, and that will kind of neutralize their all-in potential. And now that doesn't really work, because between Relic Shield and Fleet Footwork, there was so much goddamn healing coming out of the bot lane, no matter what you were going up against, that the budget mages just felt really bad. So this is kind of like a low-key buff to Morgana, Bran, Vel'Koz support. I don't know if this is enough, just because Relic Shield is still a thing, all of the heals are still a thing. But like it definitely, they're not going to complain about it. Like your poke might actually stick for a little while now, as opposed to just immediately going away.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Something to, between some of the other changes in this patch, something that might be considered. Especially, I like a lot of these changes for solo queue. Like I said, Jhin, maybe budget mages. Maybe I can get my Zyra back in bottom lane with my Jhin, and then we can just harass people out of lane all day, and then run around with our Cloud Drake buff, because our jungler decided to take Cloud Drake. It'd be great.
Who was the dragon?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll call you the new Sean. Aftershock cooldown has been increased to 35 seconds from 20 seconds, which is a step in the right direction, but I don't think it solves the issue.
Does this hurt laners
nice.
play more than junglers, I guess?
Yeah, junglers probably don't give a shit, but
Aftershock cooldown was another window you had to play around. In addition to bone plating, and in addition to all the other windows you need to worry about in the laning phase, like your opponent's cooldowns, your cooldowns, the minions. Basically, the stars have to align if you ever want to trade against a tank that has Aftershock. Like, because if Aftershock is off cooldown, or if bone plating is off cooldown, you're just going to lose the trade. You're not going to do any damage to them. Aftershock gives you 70 armor, magic resist, level 1. You aren't doing shit.
And the thing was, they pointed out in the notes here, but like the window on that was less than a minion wave. So basically, normally you're trying to trade around minions because you want the extra damage. Basically, that meant Aftershock was always up when you were trying to trade with the tank, or when you wanted to trade with the tank. So you had to get really creative about when you were doing it. I was to a point where I just assumed Aftershock was always like, I stopped trying to pay attention to it. I just assumed that they had Aftershock, and like that was what I was trying to play around, was getting them like get Aftershock to go and like just get out of harm's way long enough to then turn around on them once Aftershock has detonated. But now it's like, oh hey, maybe we can get Aftershock to pop, and then do something with the remaining time. It's still good.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to. This isn't going to hurt it too much.
There's a bug.
Maybe the other tank. Maybe this with the other changes to Cinderhawk and Warmogs. Cinderhawk not so much for laning phase, but I don't know. Maybe tanks will take a tiny hit, but I'm not optimistic.
Nah, that doesn't change much. Not until they take Aftershock and go, all right, well maybe we should scale the amount of armor and MR that you get throughout the course of the game. Like
That'd
it
be great.
should be.
Like the other runes work.
Right. Like they did with Press the Attack. It was 12%. Oh, we probably
Parity
should
and
scale
League?
it.
Nah, let's not do
Fuck
that.
that. 70 armor magic versus level 1, no problem. That's fine. Not make it, 20 scaling up to 75. Anyway, I hate it when Riot does this with bug fixes. They put like really significant bug fixes in this giant list and go, no one will see this. But the Madness passive on Hunting Guys and Leandries no longer modifies true damage, matching rules around other damage amplifying effects like Vladimir's are.
This is tragic for Vel'Koz, because if you don't know the way Vel'Koz works, his passive, if you hit him with 3 spells, it will proc and do a big chunk of true damage. And if you have procced your passive on someone, his whole ultimate channel will do true damage. And late game, his ultimate channel is like 2,000 damage. So getting 10% extra damage on that was really nice. It's not the way it was supposed to work. So you're going to have to reassess how good Vel'Koz is with the new items after we've played with this for a little bit. But it's a pretty big nerf because Vel'Koz is really doing like 30% true damage, I want to say, over his whole kit. And it's all backloaded. It's not going to be at the front. So you'll have the Haunting guys stacked up. So it's going to be giving you 8 or 10% most of the time. So it's a pretty big hit to him, I feel. I'll have to see how it really affects him. It sucks. It wasn't supposed to work, but I really enjoyed that it did without even knowing it was working. I was like, wow, Vel'Koz does so much damage with the new Haunting guys. What the hell?
This is great.
That's because it was giving you 10% extra true damage.
Well,
so
you were so excited about that, and then we were like, no, this isn't with Vel'Koz.
And then it did work, and it was taken away from me. I'm very sad. You're probably still going to go it just because you spam your abilities, but...
Well, it's not going to stop you from picking it up just because you're not getting that extra damage that you weren't supposed to be getting anyway.
Yeah, but we should be getting that damage.
No, you should not.
We should be. What's not right? I mean, come on. 10% on 2k true damage? I don't see why that shouldn't happen.
Seems totally
neither. That is totally
2k versus 22. I mean, what's really the difference, you know?
With all those shields and healing going on, I feel like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You're the problem, sir. You are the problem.
No, Rengar's the problem.
Well, he will be a problem come this patch. Probably not as big a problem. But still, it's Rengar. No one likes him. They should just nerf him, but they won't because Riot has a hard on for champions that the community hates for some reason. Yeah, well.
Supposedly some people out there like Rengar.
That's horse shit. We all know it's not true.
Dude,
you could be one of them. You've been very solid.
You know who I've been falling in love with recently is Vladimir. I love that champion.
Kind of like Santana said, you were definitely like 3 or 4 patches behind on that one, buddy.
I think he's still really good. I jungled him yesterday too.
You asshole.
What? Well, I did fine, but I took Unsealed Spellbook because you pretty much have to take it. And then... because he's kind of useless in late game team fights without Ghost. So I picked up Ghost at 25 minutes or so. Obviously, I don't have Smite at this point. And then we had some spicy 08 Draven call a Baron. I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? And the whole team was doing Baron. I clearly pinged that I don't have Smite. The enemy Kale just popped over and pinched it. So there we go. We ended up winning, but I mean...
So in other words, not really good. It just felt fun to play.
Oh, yeah, he's not a good jungler, no. I just AFK farmed. You can do that with anyone. You can just AFK farm for 20 minutes. If your team doesn't auto-lose, then maybe you can carry.
That. We don't want them doing that.
No, of course we don't. Don't do it.
You remember our conversation last week where we talked about leaving the AD carry behind and kind of run around as a support, Vrail and Dom? We talked about it a little bit on Monday. You guys kind of remember that conversation? Yeah, that fucking happened to me today. I spent the entire laning phase without a support. I think the support got mad at me because I wouldn't go in at level 2. I wouldn't go all in at level 2 on a Caitlyn Lulu. And I even pinged, I'm playing Xayah. I'm like, I didn't take...
You don't go in.
And so he went in, and he dies, and I didn't have heal or flash because of a previous thing that happened, and then he just left me there, and he came back every once in a while, but I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just going to try to farm the best I can and not die and hope he makes plays everywhere else. And he did, but still, it did not feel good. Just
Who was he? Who were you?
I was Xayah. He was Thresh. Level 1, we got invaded on, and they got a double kill early at level 1, and, I blew flash heal, all that kind of stuff. And then we went back to lane. I didn't have flash heal. They didn't have flash heal, but they were ahead of us, and I didn't take E because I just wanted to... I took Q because I'm trying to farm because I was pressed behind the wave, and he decided he wanted to go all the way in. When I pinged, I didn't have E on Xayah, and he died. And then he left me.
Sounds like a losing lane. He was trying to win outside of bot lane. I can respect it. Did y'all win?
Yeah, we actually ended up winning the game pretty handily. I wasn't mad about it. Like I think at one point,
the advice holds true.
I muted everybody early in the game, and I unmuted later, and I said, "I'm sorry." He pinged and he died, and he came later and tried to gank when I was all by myself, and I was at like 25% life, and he died to a 3-man gank bot. I'm like, "I'm sorry that I can't go in with 25% life when you leave me alone in the bottom lane." And I remuted him, and then we won the game because he just left me alone after that. I pissed somebody off. All right, I banned a champion and they banned mine. I pissed somebody off. And I just played around my mistake. It's fine, but still, all that complaining for nothing. I won the game. Got some LP. It felt good. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Dom's gonna get real life LP this weekend, going up a tier. Congratulations again, Dom. I hope it all goes well for you.
Yeah, congrats, Tom. Proud of you.
Congrats.
My
buddy.
boy.
So don't get too drunk. Did you already have a bachelor party?
Yeah.
All right, so
got
don't
was
get
that?
too drunk.
Like that was last weekend. That was why I was not able to play games on Sunday.
Can we get a story?
No, like honestly, it was just, like it was a really nice night. There was like nothing crazy happened. It was just we started drinking at noon and we closed down a bar. I can't remember the last time I closed down a bar, let alone when I started drinking at noon. So it was just like it was a long day of drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done
stuff.
that in a while. Whew. To piggyback on your story, 2 weekends ago we had people over and I started drinking at noon and I went to bed at 8. Because I'm an old goddamn man that can't drink all day anymore. Everyone left. I took care of the baby and everything, put everyone down. I went, fuck this, I'm going to sleep.
You have so many kids, though.
Yeah, 3 of them. It wears you out, let me tell you. All right, we're going to end it there. Guys, thank you so much for listening to Trinity Force Podcast, patreon.com/T-Force Network. We will see you all next week. Have a good one.
See you guys.
See ya. Later, dogs.
Yeah.